for asking me to share the Word of God to you on this occasion of the 40th anniversary of the death of the three judges. 40 years ago they left us, they were murdered. We remember them every year. You've asked me to share the Word of God with you this morning. So I say thank you for the honor you've given to me. The three judges who were murdered, they are role models. People we look to of integrity, transparency, hard work. They were admired by everybody. They had courage. They stood up for the rule of the law. But when I was preparing my sermon, I asked myself, what have we learned in the past 40 years? Have we changed in the past 40 years? Are we a happier nation? Happier people, are we? Having these three judges before us as role models, if we follow them and follow their lives, we'd be a happier people. But are we a happier people? Looking up the UN rankings, we talk of happy nations. Ghana is 111th place in the world out of 140 something. In the past year, we have dropped down 15 places in the world, and we're not happy. So Ghana is not as happy as we should be. Why? 111 is not good enough. We should be happier people. God has blessed Ghana. Look at all the natural resources we have. Gold, timber, cocoa, bauxite, you mentioned it. It's all there. Why aren't we a happier people? Why? An old man was dying, and somebody asked him, Papa, have you any regrets? Any regrets in life? And he thought for a minute, he said, yes, I've two. I didn't pray enough, and I didn't love enough. I didn't pray enough, I didn't love enough. That's the answer to why we're not happy. Are we a nation that prays? Are we a nation that loves? Why is there so much hatred at times, unforgiveness, anger? Looking up social media, people insulting one thing again. What's gone wrong? Why? Backbiting, revenge, all sorts. We need to be more loving. Love. And I want to give you 10 commandments today on forgiveness. Because St. Paul talks about to love is to forgive, to love is to be kind and caring, to love is to be thinking of others. So I give you 10 commandments to follow, to help us to be more loving, more forgiving, more caring. With the example of our three judges who really lived their Christian life to the full. The first commandment is we must love one another. We must love, care for one another. We read this morning from 1 Corinthians chapter 13, love is kind, love is patient, love is caring. That's what we must do. Because the more we love, the more we can forgive. The more we love, the happier we become. We can't keep grudges, anger, resentment, hatred, unforgiveness. We can't keep those in our hearts. prayer and love. Prayer and love. So our first one is to forgive. Is to forgive. The second one, we must forgive. We have to forgive. Mark's Gospel, chapter 11, verse 25. When you pray, forgive if you have anything against anyone, so that your Father will forgive you. We must forgive. We must. I read the story of the unjust steward, Matthew chapter 18, verse 21 and the following. The steward who owed his master plenty of money, up to, in today's money, it would be around $60 million. And his master forgave him and cancelled the debt. And that same steward, when he went to his fellow steward, who owed him something like $200, he wouldn't forgive him, put him in prison. We have to forgive. We've no choice. There's no ifs and buts and ands. We have to forgive. Otherwise your Father will not forgive you. When I think of Nelson Mandela, 27 years he was in prison. 27 years. He was in a cell by himself. No running water, no toilet, no bathroom, no bed. Breaking stones in a quarry. He was allowed a visitor once a year. He was allowed to write a letter every 6 months. A man walked out of prison with no anger, no resentment, no revenge. He forgave. He forgave because he loved. Pope John Paul, going around St. Peter's Square, was somebody shot down and nearly killed him. After recovering from that shot that he shot him at the side, he went to visit the man who tried to kill him. He went to visit him in prison. He held the hand of the man that held that gun to shoot him. That's forgiveness. Could you do that? We're asked to forgive and forget. We're asked to love and pray. We're asked just to be like Jesus. Can you do that? Every one of us here has been hurt. Every one of us. We've been hurt by others. Our family, our friends, our workmates. We've all been hurt in one way or the other. And we can't keep grudges. We cannot keep on thinking, not forgiving. I remember one time I was asked to sit in between a husband and wife, just to witness the wife asking the husband, have you married your second wife? He said yes. And then our wife told him to go. The next day the wife packed bags and left everything. Just left the home. And the man came to see me in my parish. He said, find my wife for me. Find my wife. Tell her to come back. Well, the wife phoned me and said she would never come back. But the next day the husband came to me and I stood at the door of my house. And the man asked me, did my wife tell you she's coming back? I said, no, she's not coming back. And when I said that, he slapped me in my face. And he punched me in the chin. He was a man, a big man in the ministries. In the ministries. A big man. And around, I've beaten up Father Campbell, I've beaten up Father Campbell. Next week, I was called to the office of the senior no names, please. And I was brought in front of the big man, and he was there, the one that had with me, and he said he was sorry. I forgave him. The hand that slapped me, I shook hands with. A week later, I came here to Christ the King. I was working in Sacred Heart Parish in Derby Avenue at the time. A week later, I came here for a wedding. The church was empty. I was here on the first. And I went up onto the altar to check the books. And the church was empty. Then walked in only my friend. And he sat over there on my left. I said, do I have to go and shake hands with that man? Do I have to hold that hand that slapped me and beat me? I was pretending to look for the book pages. I said, I can go to the side door here. Nobody would see. I struggled and struggled. I said, I'm not a saint. I'm not a saint. I struggled. I said, Lord, what do you want me to do? I said I forgave him, but Lord, this was too hard, Lord. God gave me the courage, and I went down and I shook hands with that hand. A week later, I went to the airport, and I was going up the steps. On top of the steps, here was my friend again. I said, oh Lord, not again. He was talking to an Englishman. I couldn't turn back. And I got up and I shook hands with my friend. And my friend introduced me to the Englishman and said, oh, meet Father Campbell, he's my best friend. Forgiveness is not easy. To love is not easy. We must forgive. With the help of God, we have to be more spiritual, more prayerful. Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. It's difficult, it's hard, it's difficult to love, it's difficult to forgive, but we must pray for those who hurt us. Pray for it. Luke chapter 6 verse 25, love your enemies. Does love and prayer go together? Prayer is love in action. We must love, we must pray for those. No matter how hard it is, we must pray for them. Pray for them. You can write out on a piece of paper those who have offended you. And then go and burn it. Or tear it up. But pray for them. Lord, I find it difficult to pray, but I'm praying for them. Love your enemies, sisters. Love them. Forgiveness is a type of hatred. Hatred, wanting what is bad for that person. Seeking revenge. Refusing to forgive. Hatred is of the devil. We make them feel bad. We're out to get them. I always remember some years ago, there was a priest in the north of Ireland who was put in prison, abuse of children. And he was put into prison for 7 years, but he died in prison. The next day, the newspaper headlines, may he rot in hell. I mean, the hatred there, no matter what. We ask God to forgive this priest. We shouldn't seek hatred and revenge. Look at the story of Joseph, the first reading today. Joseph in chapter 45. Joseph was thrown into that big pit by his brothers. And what happened? Joseph became a big man in Egypt. And when his brothers came to look for food, he could have gotten revenge. But he didn't. He forgave them. He put his arms around them and forgave them. That takes courage. Don't have that hatred in your heart. We don't want hatred. I read in a magazine that 70% of psychiatric patients come to a psychiatrist because of unforgiveness. 70%. 70%. I remember one doctor here in Ghana, he said to me, Father, most of the people that come to me, they should come and see you, Father. Because they come with spiritual problems, unforgiveness, and also they should come and see you, pray for you, go to confession. When you keep that hatred in your heart, that hatred, make a decision to forgive. Decide, I'm going to forgive. Forgiveness is a decision. Forgiveness is not an emotion. It is not a feeling. Forgiveness is I have decided to forgive. I've decided, this is my decision. No matter how you feel, no matter what your emotions are, I have decided to forgive. Matthew chapter 5 verse 23. If you have a grudge against anybody, leave your gift at the altar and go and be reconciled with your brother. Then come and offer your gifts. You come to church on Sunday, you're not talking to your wife, or your husband, or your children, and you come and offer your gift, and you go to communion. I said, that's not right. It's not right. Go and seek forgiveness. Seek healing. Seek healing of emotions and memories. Seek healing from your priest. Have the humility to say, Father, please pray for me. Please pray for me. In our confession as a Catholic, the priest puts his hand on the head of the person and prays a prayer of absolution and forgiveness. There's a healing power in that blessing from the priest. A healing power of forgiveness. A healing power of healing of memories. To be able to forgive and forget. There's a healing power in a priest's blessing. So we shouldn't hesitate to seek healing from a priest, through a priest. It's God's healing, it's not the priest's healing. It's God healing us. And it's God working through us, that healing power of Christ. Close the door to evil. Close the door. When we harbor bitterness and anger, when we harbor hatred and resentment, we're asking the devil to come to our lives. Too many families are broken, not talking to one another, not sharing with one another. And it comes right through to funerals in Ghana. I remember one funeral I had here. The family was split. It was awful. One family, one part of the family here, the other part on the other side of the coffin. They weren't talking to one another. They weren't forgiving one another. Even with the relative in front there in a coffin. One family said, Father, tell the other family to go and we'll have special places for special visitors. I don't know. People sit where they want to sit. Why? Why? Even in death, we still bear hatred and anger. Close the door to evil. Too many families are split and broken. Close it. You must forgive yourself. Times we don't forgive ourselves. We do something wrong and we cannot forgive ourselves. We go around with long faces and sadness. You can come to your priest for healing. Don't have that bad image of yourself. You're a child of God. A child of God. I remember one time in Usherford, I was preparing him for the firing squad. I remember one of the prisoners saying to me, Father, are you sure God forgives me? Are you sure God forgives me? I said, yes, He loves you. He loves you. He forgives you. You have to be. God is such a loving, merciful, kind God. We should forgive ourselves and have a good opinion of ourselves. We're a child of God. If we're a child of God, we're important to God. At times forgiveness will be a process. It takes time. Today you'll forgive, maybe next year you have to forgive again the same thing. It takes time and deeper forgiveness in your heart. Always remember we are an instrument of God's love. We've been commissioned to go and preach the gospel. We've been commissioned to go and help to heal divisions in our family. In our place of work, we are instruments of God's love. Instruments. But when we are hurt and we're healed, we feel that love of God in our heart. And we want to share that with other people. We are instruments of God's love. And that's why the beautiful hymn of St. Francis, when he says, make me an instrument of your peace. Make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring you love. Where there is injury, your pardon. Where there is doubt, true faith in you. Make me an instrument of your peace, your forgiveness, your love. Where there is despair in life, let me bring hope. Where there is darkness, only light. Where there is sadness, ever joy. God has blessed us. He has forgiven us. He died on that cross. And his first words were, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they are doing. You and I have that task to forgive. Don't leave this church with any unforgiveness in your heart. Don't leave this church with any hatred or anger in your heart. It brings sickness. You feel ill. You don't feel happy. You don't feel happy. You won't be able to pray properly. Your prayer will just be words. It's easy to be a Christian. It's hard to be a good Christian. That's what God is expecting from all of us. Don't be satisfied with your spiritual life. Come deeper and deeper in love with God. Because the more you love God, the more you can forgive. The more you love God, the more you'll be able to reconcile with those who have hurt you. Those who hurt you. Someone sent me a text message the other day accusing me of unfriending her on Facebook. She insulted me. I smiled. And I wrote back and said, I haven't offended anybody in the past years on Facebook. And her answer was, okay, just okay. So I forgive her. I forgive her. That's what we have to do. It's not easy. It's not easy to forgive. It's not easy to love. It's not easy to be a Christian. Ask God to give you the grace to be a man and woman of prayer, a man and woman committed to Jesus Christ. These three judges who died, they're an example to us, they're a model to us. We want to follow them, to be able to forgive, to love, to care for others.